fear, anger, sadness, hurt, pain, fed up, disappointed, fury, rage, and mistrust. These are things that are okay to feel this week. But while we mourn, remember that we are strong and will prevail. This is ZZO Breezy, and this is Struggulations 101.
How many motherfuckers you done seen with a leather jogging pant? Wanna know how the I turn up?
And call him a boss. That's like calling somebody daddy.
Well, this is the how I turn up.
This is Struggulations 101 with ZZO Breezy. Breezy.
As you guys know, the show is supposed to be off this week and next week, but no vacation is as important as this week in American history. I just couldn't be silent this week, and I've had a fucking enough. So let's begin at the beginning. Normally I'm a pop culture show in some ways, so let's begin at the beginning. I'm going to talk about Sierra and Russell Wilson. I don't care right now. I'm going to talk about Kevin Durant real quick. I don't care right now. What matters is what we saw in the last 4 days, and that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to keep this entertaining, but it is what it is. Sometimes the truth isn't entertaining. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, and I'm here to bring both of those to you. So let's just start with Alton Sterling. Selling CDs leads to a man's death. Cops allegedly got a call about a guy wielding a gun, which we recently found out that this call was from a homeless man, and the call probably wasn't even about Alton Sterling to begin with. The cops say he had a gun. They tackled him down and shot him 6 times while he was already restrained. The gun was never seen. It was in his pocket the whole time. The store owner and the neighborhood said he was a great guy. And that's what we all saw, right? We can agree that we all saw the same thing, right? Let's move on to the press conference really quickly. To watch a 15-year-old boy, not a man, a boy, someone who's building formative knowledge about the world and building a formative identity about how he sees the world and who he is. This is just heartbreaking to watch a young boy weep for his father. And by the way, this isn't over for this young man. He's affected for life. Not only is he just affected for life because his father's gone and he cannot talk to his father when it comes to the important times in life, but this kid has to see this shit played over and over on the news, on the internet. Photos are blasted on the front page newspapers. His nightmare will continue. And his nightmare may even continue even more simply because these cops might not even be convicted, if even prosecuted. He's going to continue to see the world as evil. And that's not right. And by the way, I want to quickly ask the question about community policing, which for all those who don't know what that is, it's when the police are supposed to be active with the community, talk to them, stop, ask how they're doing, regular shit that you would imagine a cop should already be doing. Guess what? They don't. What I want to know is what happened to community policing in this case, because this man, Alton Sterling, was outside of this store, this certain store, it's called Triple S, for a few years from what I know. He's never had any problems with anybody, never anything. Now, if the cops are truly of the community, shouldn't they know this character by now? Shouldn't they know that he's never done anything wrong? Oh, he's just outside doing his thing, just like leave him alone, blah, blah, blah. I really don't get that. I really don't understand, because now it's looking like more of a crack in the policing system. Well, excuse me, an extended crack, because we already saw the biggest crack there was in the system itself. And shout out to the people who are brave enough to even take out their phones to do this shit, which we're going to talk about phones a lot more in our next horrific case that we just witnessed. Mr. Philando Castile out of Minneapolis. He was stopped for a broken tail light, and he ended up dead. Long story short, the good news is, if there's any good to come of this, is that his girlfriend or fiance, I believe, live streamed what she could on Facebook. And if you want to talk about Alton Sterling and say, oh, he was like selling CDs, they were probably illegal CDs, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Maybe I'll give you that. But this man, Philando Castile, did everything right. Not only was he an upstanding citizen, worked as a supervisor in the school district for 14 years, but he did what our parents tell us to do. Tell them what you have. If you have anything in your car, just tell them. Be open with them. Be honest with them. Comply with them. And for those who may not know, black parents tell their kids at a very young age, mine have told me this at a very young age, and my brothers and sisters at a very young age, how to cooperate with police to avoid this very instance. He had a license to carry a gun in a carrying state. And when you go to get your wallet to show the officer, they shoot you. Not only just shoot you, but shoot you 4 times at close range. And then after they shoot you 4 times in close range, the officer continues to point the gun and let you bleed to death in front, not only of your fiance or girlfriend, but there was a 4-year-old girl in the back. I just want you to think about that. Like, because there's obviously levels to this shit. Not only did I want you to, seriously, let's go back. Not only did he shoot him, shot him 4 times, point in close range. Then after those 2 things, he watched him pretty much bleed to death while he continued to point the gun at this man. Did not give him help. Literally cold-blooded murder. And then when the cops, and then when backup arrived, they arrested the girlfriend slash fiance. They detained the girlfriend slash fiance and her daughter for hours on end. And for some people who saw this video and maybe can't understand, like, why she's so calm, I'm gonna tell you why she's so calm. It's the age-old black mentality in America. And it's unfortunate. But I and many others that look like me have been so trained to never make any sudden movements or argue with police our whole lives that even if someone is dying next to you, you have to contain yourself because there is nothing stopping you from getting killed, just like they did right next to you. That's why she had to be calm. She probably knew that if she did anything remotely wrong, she'd be next, and maybe her story would have never been told. It's a shame what African Americans have to go through in this country. It's a shame that people have to feel that they're being treated differently for the way that they look. But I have some questions, though. I don't know if these are questions for the cop with training. I don't know, but these are questions actually in both cases in some way, shape, or form. If Alton Sterling or if Philando Castile really wanted to kill these cops, A, wouldn't Alton have his gun drawn out already when they approached him if he wanted to kill? And in Philando's case, if he wanted to kill a cop, why would he even tell them he had a firearm in the car? Why? What would be the point of that? If there was a real threat on an officer's life. And in the case of Mr. Castile, what if the cop missed and hit the daughter in the back? What were we going to do then? And then for all the people who say, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Well, believe it happened. Believe it because this has been happening for years. The violence is not new. It's the cameras that are new. This has been happening. If there were no cameras used by bystanders or witnesses, would anybody believe these stories? Would you have believed Lavish Reynolds and the story she told if she did not Facebook Live this? Would you have really believed that she went to the cops or went to the news and said, my boyfriend got killed right in front of me over a broken taillight and he had a license to carry? Would you really believe her? These are the lengths we have to go through. Would they have died in vain if she didn't? Or excuse me, if she didn't, or if the store owner in the Alton Sterling case or the bystanders in the other car in his case didn't tape either? Technology has brought us a very long way, and I am more than thankful, because it's about time that we started getting these things documented. And that's probably the only good news out of these two cases. The fact that this is able to be seen and heard. We do not just have audio. We do not just have the video. We have both. And another thing that's probably the only other thing that's good out of this case is that I am glad that both Sterling and Castile's cases are requested to be processed by the federal government. And for all those who don't know why that is so important, I'm going to tell you why it's important. 2 words: Eric Garner. For all those who do not remember, he is the man who was selling cigarettes outside, and when the cops approached him, they didn't arrest him. They basically chokeholded him and killed him when he said, "I can't breathe," 12 times. What got the police officers off is that the case was handled locally, which means the same prosecutors that works with the cops in a lot of cases had to work against them in this case, which if you're friends, you know exactly what happens. Nobody ever even got prosecuted. Hopefully, now that we're requesting that it gets taken out of local hands and into the feds, that we actually get justice. Those are the only 2 things out of this case, and those are the only 2 positive things I will say. But we need to keep recording. We just need to keep documenting every little thing that happens to us until, I guess, other people realize that this is a problem, because this is. On another note, stop talking about Obama. Stop talking bad about Obama. I've seen a lot of people, white, black, Asian, whomever, who say, well, this is your first black president, or this is our first black president, and he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. I'm going to tell you right now, what is he supposed to do? I'm going to ask you. You tell me, what is he supposed to do? Because after he implemented body cameras, the most he can do right now is maybe demand every single police unit in the country get extensive diversity training. Honestly, there is no policy prescription for this on his level. Okay? And by the way, just back to the training, even if he did implement diversity training, how do you train prejudice out of somebody's heart? All right? So, he really cannot do much. And we, at this point, cannot blame Obama. We have to blame ourselves. We need to start voting on the fucking local level. I'll say this earlier. I said this earlier this week. And I'll say it again. The next time you see that puny little ballot in your puny little town, don't throw it away. Open it up and research these motherfuckers. Research these people. Research your mayors, your sheriffs, your school board people. Research these people, because by you not voting, you could incidentally be putting someone in office who does not deserve to be there, who does believe in racist ways, who does not believe in equality and things like that. It's time for us to get our shit together. Yes, voting for president is important. Yes, voting for your state governor is important. But when it comes to your fucking town, do your fucking research. And I'm going to tell you why. When it came to teenager Laquan McDonald out in Chicago, who got shot 16 times while walking away from police, the local prosecutor decided to not press charges on the cops, which goes back to local prosecutions, which is what we just talked about before, and did not charge these officers. Do you know what Chicago did? They stood up and voted against this prosecutor and got her out of office and voted for someone who actually cared about these matters. It can be done if we want it to be fucking done. Okay? Another thing about Obama, please give this man a goddamn day off. Somebody give this man a day off. I know that he is fucking tired of talking about this shit. By the way, he's had to talk about more mass shootings than any other president in history at this point. I know he's fucking tired of this shit. Like, and for all those Obama haters who want to say, well, he only stands up for the black people because he's a Negro. He's President Blackula and blah, 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 blah. Fuck y'all, because he said something very important regarding these shootings, which is very true. And this is how a lot of people feel, including black, for all those who may not get it. Just because Black Lives Matter doesn't mean blue lives don't. People can be pro-black and still be anti-police brutality. I do not want to hear anybody commenting on this fucking show talking about some, oh, well, she's a this and she's a that. No, honey. Apples and oranges. I can think two things at the same time. And you should too. Which leads us to Dallas. First, I just want to say that my heart goes out to the families, friends, and colleagues of the 5 Dallas policemen killed and the 7 wounded. With that said, I do not want anyone to get confused and think that the deaths of these police officers are equivalent to Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, because they are not. Dallas has their suspect, 1's dead and 3 in custody, and they will most likely go to jail. Those cops will get their justice. But when we, the people, witness and or hear about police on citizen violence, the cops involved always get paid administrative leave. On top of that, they probably won't even see a conviction. So as far as people talking about, well, cops versus this, no. There is an extreme difference. The cops will get their justice. Okay, I want everybody to know the cops will get their justice for what happened to them. But will these families and families that we've seen in the past get justice? 90% of the time, or even 99% of the time from what we've seen is no. And that is the difference here. Last year, a little over 40 cops were killed. Okay, which is sad, disheartening. But compare that to the over 1,140 police killings that we know of last year. There is a difference. Okay, so while I am very sorry to hear about what happened, there is a difference, and the same goes for black on black crime. For all those who want to say, oh, well, what about blacks killing blacks? Guess what happens to blacks killing blacks? If I kill Ray Ray, I'm going to jail immediately. If the cops kill Ray Ray, the cop gets to go home to his family and get paid leave and probably never have a day in jail to repent for his crimes. That is the difference here. So while I am very saddened to see what happened in Dallas, I have to be honest and say that the police officers and police officers everywhere, they will get their justice. But will these families, will future black families, will the past black families, that's something that's to be seen. So I digress, and I want to ask you guys, now, what the fuck are you guys doing? Okay? And I'm sorry, the Facebook post, the blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can say that shit all you want. Let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what the fuck I did. I stood on my street corner in the suburbs, mind you, alone. And one of the busiest corners of the busiest times of the day. Stood there from about 5:30 to around 7:30. I stood there alone after Alton Sterling's death. This was before, of course, before the world saw the horrific Philando Castile tape, of course. But as long as I can, I will stand there on that corner. And I want you to too. I don't want you to feel stupid. I don't care if it's hot. I don't care if you're embarrassed. Well, in fact, you should be embarrassed. Okay? You should be embarrassed that you live in a country that allows mistreatment of a certain group of people time after time after time, and there's never any reconciliation for it. So yeah, if you want to feel embarrassed about something, be embarrassed about that. But don't ever feel embarrassed to get up on your fucking street corner, even if you are alone, and hold up your sign and let these people know that this is not just a citywide protest thing. You don't have to be in a major city to stand up and let people know that people care. You don't have to be in NYC, Detroit, Chicago, LA, Philly. You don't have to do that. Get your little homegirls or homeboys and just stand on the street corner. It doesn't matter if it's 10 of you. It doesn't matter if it's one of you. Just the fact that someone is bringing attention to the cause and putting it in people's faces. It's okay to make people uncomfortable. And I've said that before. It is okay in times like these to make people feel uncomfortable. We need to have an uncomfortable conversation right now more than ever. So I want to ask you guys, what are you really doing? Stop posting on Facebook. Start doing something. I mean, do something. Because now is the time. And while we're talking about standing up and doing something, I want to say shout out to the Black women of America. Between seeing your sons, husbands, boyfriends, uncles, cousins, fathers, you name it, etc., being jailed at a higher rate and incarcerated for longer sentences. On top of that, you're watching them die. On top of that, you're having to take care, raise kids, probably even grandkids alone. Take care of your household alone. And this is for all of the Black women who have lost and they have to relive this pain every time they see something like this happen. If we're not going to do anything for ourselves, let's do it for them. Let's give them some support. Black women are essentially the backbone of the community right now. If we did not have Black women, where would we be as Black children? And this is not something for just Black people to acknowledge. White people, Asian people, honestly, who do you see at the podium almost every time crying their eyes out when something like this happens? Who is supposed to take care of the family after something like this happens? We need to start giving more support to our Black women. Not just from inside of the community, but from outside as well. Because they have it hard. And on that note, the majority of the show is done for today, but it's unfortunate I have to say this, but we do play our game called Swipe Right, Swipe Left. This isn't really a game at this point, it's more so questions. For all those who don't know, swipe right, swipe left is Tinder based. Swipe right if I'm interested, swipe left if I'm not. And once again, this is a very different swipe right, swipe left than has previously done. Swipe right, swipe left on protests. I swipe right on protests because I love the diverse display of love. To watch young, old, poor, rich, white, Black, gay, straight, Christian, Jew, to see all of that support is amazing. We love seeing that support. In fact, the country as a whole should love seeing that support in knowing that there is love somewhere in somebody's heart enough to unite and work together. That should be very, very promising for us. But I swipe left because I'm not sure what it accomplishes right now. Because the protests are great, but once again, we need to fucking vote on the local level. And now with Dallas, a lot of protests may be very different. It can be a real head-on clash with protesters and police right now. So I guess I'm indifferent in some ways right now. And I hope that you can understand. Gun control, swipe right, swipe left. I swipe right. It's time for a gun purge. Okay, straight up. It's time for a gun purge. It's time to go in every house in the nation and take them out. Take them out. Take them out. I don't care about Second Amendment rights anymore. Because what is the use of them? Their guns are no good on either side. Either side. Because these days they're not even good in the hands of the quote-unquote good people. which we imagine to be cops, right? One of the good guys. I don't want them in this country at all anymore. It's time to do a purge. It's time to do a sweep. I don't care if you call it a violation of civil rights, because what we have witnessed in the past days have been violations of civil rights. So I don't care. I don't care anymore. Get all the guns off the streets, out of every house and out of every cop's hand. And for everybody says, oh, how can you take it out of a cop's hand? Well, easy. They don't have, the police in, I believe, England do not have guns, okay? They know how to de-escalate and not kill. Keep that in mind. So I'm swiping right for gun control. It's time. It's time. It's over. Cops. Swipe right, swipe left. I'm going to be frank about this. I swipe right for the cops that actually do their job of protecting and serving. But I swipe extremely left to the bad cops. And not only to the bad cops, but the cops who won't speak out about the bad cops. If you're not speaking out against your fellow officer who you see is doing bad, then you, my friend, are part of the problem too. It is time to break the blue wall of silence and speak out. Speak against these people. What do they say towards us people when we see something wrong? If you see something, say something. That same shit should be implemented in every police force in America. Stand up against what's wrong if you see it happening. Swipe right, swipe left. Black Lives Matter. First of all, I swipe extremely to the right because they do. And for all those who want to say, oh my God, well, all lives matter. Shut the fuck up. And because we know that. We know that all lives matter. I want you to get that through your thick fucking head. I know that all lives matter. The key thing is, I wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter if all lives really did. I shouldn't have to declare Black Lives Matter if all life mattered. That's what I want you to understand. This is not a separate but equal thing by any fucking means. I want you to get this clear through your fucking head. If all lives really matter, then there'd be no reason for people to say, scream, holler, shout, and march that Black lives do matter as well. Get the fuck out of here, okay? And for all those who don't get it, I just want people to see what Black people have gotten killed for. Gotten killed for Wallace with Amadou Diallo, sleeping in a car with Keisha Michael and Mark Quentin Sandlin, Skittles with Trayvon Martin, a cell phone with Anthony Scott, loud music, Jordan Davis, cigarettes, Eric Gardner, cigarillos, Michael Brown, shopping at Walmart, John Crawford III, a toy gun, Tamir Rice, failure to signal, Sandra Bland, CDs, Alton Sterling. But Mr. Philando Castile takes the cake because why? It's proof that you can do absolutely nothing wrong and still be killed. You can come forward and tell them what you have. You can comply and still die. That is the problem here. And yes, Black lives do matter. And that is the end of swipe right, swipe left. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end of the show. I have some announcements, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing this week. Announcements, guys. As you know, I was supposed to be on vacation this week and next week, but this show just needed to be done. It was very poignant. So I just want to let you know that I will be on vacation next week still, but now it's going to be spread to the week after. The new episodes of Struggulations 101 will be back on July 29th, so stay tuned, and I'm hoping to have some cool things for you, not only when I come back, but when I'm going as well. And I want you guys to follow us at Struggulations101 at Gmail, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook. And at Struggulations, just at Struggulations, there is no 101, on Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat. So please follow us, and please stay tuned for any updates that's going on our social media. I do have some plans this weekend. I will be in Philadelphia this weekend, so shout out to all my Bulls and Johns out there. I will be seeing you. Shout out to Onyx and Vanity Grands, because I will be spending a lot of time there. So if anybody's in the Philly area and wants to party with me, hit me up. Like I said, follow me once again at Struggulations101 at Gmail, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram, and at Struggulations without the 101 on Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat. And I have some last words for everybody. Everybody who's listening. I want everybody to be safe, be wise, and know it's okay to feel how you feel, but it's not okay to act out in a negative way. We can do this whole eye for an eye thing, but it's not going to help. The cops are already killing blacks and browns, and they are already getting away with it. So how do you think they're going to react now that we've hurt one of their own? They might start killing in droves now, and it'll be a never-ending cycle. We need love right now. We need understanding right now. And for all of those who do not understand, I just simply want you to ask yourself if you would like this constant treatment of you and the people around you that you love, or people that look like you simply because they look like you. As President Obama said, this is not a black issue. This is an American issue. And I just want to note, while this show is dedicated to the Sterling and the Castile families, we also lost 2 other men to police violence that aren't getting that much attention due to the other stories. Delron Small of Brooklyn and Pedro Villanueva Small. Delron Small got shot by an off-duty NYPD cop in front of his girlfriend and kids. And Mr. Villanueva was shot by an undercover cop during an illegal street race. And for all those who want to say it's an illegal street race, well, guess what? You don't have to get killed for an illegal street race. That's not anything to be killed over. So while we have a lot of attention on the Castile and the Sterling case, we also have to bring light that there are 2 more men who have lost their lives by the hands of police that may not be getting the same attention that we should be giving them. So I just want you to keep that in mind and keep their families in your hearts as well. Once again, everybody, be safe, stay strong, stay wise, stay loved, be loved, and give love. I am Zizio Breezy, and this is Struggulations 101. Much love.
How many motherfuckers you done seen with a leather jogging pant? Wanna know how the I turn up?
And call him a boss. That's like calling somebody daddy.
Well, this is the how I turn up.
This is Struggulations 101 with Zizio Breezy. Breezy.